What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 23 of the Bronx and Big Blue Breakdown. I'm your host, Brady Heslin, and today we'll be breaking down the next New York Giants head coach, John Harbaugh. So, the New York Giants and John Harbaugh are currently finalizing a deal for him to become the next head coach of the New York Giants. So, this came together really quickly. The Giants interviewed Harbaugh, or more like Harbaugh interviewed the Giants yesterday, and it came out that the Giants really didn't want to let him leave the building without a deal, and they met all day. I believe he was in the building by like 9 o'clock and didn't leave until after 7. I went home for a little bit, and then around midnight, the news broke that the Giants were finalizing a deal with John Harbaugh. So first, I'm going to talk a little bit about John Harbaugh, his background, what he does well, things that could probably be improved upon, and then I want to talk a little bit just about yesterday as a day because that was crazy. But let's talk about John Harbaugh. So he's 180 and 113 as a head coach, 13 and 11 in the playoffs, a Super Bowl champion in 2012. Made the playoffs in 12 of 18 seasons, won the division in 6 of 18 seasons. He has 8 road victories in the playoffs, which is the most in NFL history. He was the coach of the year in 2019, and he's 14th all time in coaching wins, and he should be going up that list with the Giants. So the resume really speaks for itself. I mean, this is the best coach to come on the market in, since I've been really watching football as far as I can remember, and I started really getting into football like 2016, 2017, after the Giants made the playoffs and drafted Saquon, around that like time frame. I know they didn't draft Saquon after they made the playoffs, but just that general um, time frame there. But yeah, I mean, just this is the guy. Like this was the guy. The Giants, came out that he was their number one. They leaked a lot of stuff with media. Chris Mara literally telling stuff straight to Ian O'Connor that they went out to lunch, and it would have been really embarrassing if the Giants didn't get him, but they really pulled out all the stops. I mean, I saw a tweet today, and it said that it was John Mara, Steve Tisch, Chris Mara, Tim McDonald, Brandon Brown, Joe Shane, Jackson Dart. Like, they really brought out everybody. I mean, Eli Manning reached out to Harbaugh. Tom Coughlin reached out to Harbaugh. Even Brian Dable called John Harbaugh to kind of just tell him about the job and, recommend him the job. And, I give a lot of credit and a lot of respect to Brian Dable for doing that. But, I mean, it's really hard for people to agree on something in today's world, especially, in sports. And it feels like all Giants fans are just like jumping with joy with this hire. And I mean, just again, the resume just speaks for itself. Another thing is the Ravens defense are ranked top 10 in scoring for 13 of 18 seasons under John Harbaugh. They were top 3 in scoring 9 of 18 seasons. So half of John Harbaugh's years in Baltimore, they had a top 3 defense in the NFL. And the seasons that they were out of the top 10, a lot of them were not by much. 2012, 2013, they were 12th. Last year, 2025, they were 18th. 2021, they were 19th. In 2015, they were 24th, which was their worst season. So, I mean, and then the Giants, they have 30th ranked defenses, and, people are like celebrating coordinators, where just the thing with John Harbaugh, I mean, it's so hard for me to even wrap my head around this. Like, I'm kind of just doing this on the fly. I'm trying to get this out as quickly as I can. But the thing with John Harbaugh is, he brings some respect, some credibility back to this Giants building. I think he's really going to change, the way that the Giants do some things. I think the Giants are still old school on a lot of things. I think he's going to, bring stuff from Baltimore. Baltimore is kind of like a new school kind of team. I think he's going to bring a lot of that stuff. Another part of this is it's been reported that Todd Monken is expected to join the team on obviously the offensive side of the ball. They won't just come out and say offensive coordinator, but it's likely he will be the offensive coordinator or at least be running the offense. Um, so that's great news. I think Todd Monken is a very good offensive coordinator. Another thing with John Harbaugh is the coordinator hires. Like, he's been very good at hiring coordinators, and he's also been very good at moving off of coordinators when the time is right. And I mentioned this in yesterday's episode about the head coaching candidates. But the year they won the Super Bowl in 2012, they fired their offensive coordinator mid-season, and they were winning games and that kind of thing. But he just felt it was right, and a lot of coaches would have waited till the end of the year, but no, he fired him, right then and there, and that was a big reason why they won the Super Bowl. So just stuff like that, and I'm really confident that John Harbaugh is gonna bring in good coaches and really just turn this team around and run a good program with the Giants. So I'm just kind of rolling through some other things. It was Cam Cameron that was going to be the offensive coordinator that he fired, but Jim Caldwell and Gary Kubiak, two offensive coordinators, with John Harbaugh, both got head coaching gigs. Um, yeah, when they hired Todd Monken, Lamar won an MVP and was in a really close um, matchup with Josh Allen in another year. But it's just like the Giants couldn't have asked for anything more. I mean, it came out as soon as they fired Brian Dable that they wanted experience, CEO type of coach, guy that's going to hold people accountable. And that guy really wasn't available until John Harbaugh was fired. So Todd Monken, his resume a little bit. He was the Ravens offensive coordinator of 2023, 2025. Before that, he was with Georgia as their offensive coordinator slash quarterbacks coach, 2020 to 2022. He was the Browns OC in 2019, Bucks OC 2016, 2018. So this guy has a lot of experience. He knows how to work with young quarterbacks. Um, just I'm just ecstatic. I mean, I really am. I'm just kind of scrolling through some things here. Bobby Skinner put out a lot of good posts. Looking at some like Ian O'Connor stuff as well. Just just ecstatic by this. I mean, it really feels like this could be a turning point, for the Giants. And, for someone like me, I'm 17. I've seen this team be good once. I mean, I remember the playoff game against the Packers. I don't really remember a ton from that season, but just, I just want to see this team win so bad. And I think that John Harbaugh is the guy to do that with, the pieces, they have Dart, Scadaboo, Tracy, Neighbors, Thomas, and then on defense, there's obviously the defensive line with Burns, Carter, Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence. You got some other young pieces, see if they can bring back Flott. Um, but yeah, it's just like it just feels like finally something goes the Giants' way. Like, I mean, I was totally bracing myself last night for Harbaugh to, go interview with the Titans and the Falcons, and then maybe he meets with the Falcons last, and they do something like the Giants and they don't let him leave, and Matt Ryan, kind of convinces them or something. They give him a crap ton of money or whatever, and he goes there. Like I was totally preparing for that, but yeah. So the deal isn't official yet, but it's been all over. Adam Schefter, all those guys have posted about it. One thing with Todd Monken that I didn't talk about yet is he uses a fullback, and Patrick Ricard is a free agent. So I do expect the Giants to sign Ricard and have a fullback. So that's pretty fun. Tyler Linderbaum is also a free agent, a Pro Bowl or even All Pro level center for the Ravens. I think that'd be a huge signing for the Giants, and that would really help that offensive line because JMS isn't terrible, but Tyler Linderbaum is a stud. So Isaiah Likely is also a free agent. See maybe if they bring someone like him in. Jordan Stout, the punter, is a free agent. The Giants can improve at punter, and John Harbaugh is a special teams guy. So I hope that maybe that can help shore up some things on special teams as well, because that's been like a disaster the past couple years for the Giants. Um, just kind of looking through some things again. I mean, I'm so happy. I mean, I really am. It's just a truly, a good day to be a Giants fan. And now I guess would be a good time to kind of go into some flaws. Um, you know, they did blow some leads last year, and we saw something that was, Dable had some issues like that too. But I think part of it is, when you've been coaching so long, you see the stats that they post. When you've been coaching that long, you're going to blow some leads and that kind of thing. And I don't think it was all totally his fault. I mean, at the end of the day, the Ravens went 8-9. Lamar was hurt for a good chunk of the year. They missed the playoffs because of one missed field goal, and Ravens fans thought like the world was going to end. And like we're Giants fans. I mean, like we're celebrating like anything at this point. I mean, like I would take a season like that, like in a heartbeat. So yeah, another interesting thing is the Joe Shane dynamic and all of this. We'll see. I mean, I certainly think John Harbaugh is going to have more of a say than Joe Shane. I mean, I think they're going to be paying John Harbaugh $20 million a year, and Joe Shane's won 7 games in the last 2 seasons. So it just, we'll have to see what happens if, maybe at the fifth pick, they don't agree on who to take. Maybe Harbaugh wants someone like Caleb Downs to kind of play that Kyle Hamilton role, and I think he would do a great job at that, for this Giants team. And maybe Shane wants a receiver or something. Like who ends up making the final call, I think is something interesting to see. But just kind of recapping the day yesterday. So Harbaugh goes. It's announced around 9 that John Harbaugh's in the Giants building and he's interviewing. And Doug Analytics, who was a finalist for Bronx and Big Blue Breakdown Creator of the Year, if you didn't see my award show, go check that out. I posted that yesterday. But so he posted, like, he was tracking Steve Tish's private plane, and he was in the building yesterday. So I'm trying to like scroll down here, so I can really like kind of get a good timeline. So yeah, he's there around 9. He's there pretty much all day, and then they end up going to dinner, and it's announced that like around 5, they're saying that like he's gonna fly back, right? Like they're saying he's gonna fly back, whatever. And then Ian O'Connor posts at 7:26 that the Giants are still talking to John Harbaugh, and the flight has been held. But when you were tracking the plane at that time, the plane was moving. So that made people really confused as to what was going on. And then Ian O'Connor posts that the plane he is leaving, so that it's announced he's leaving. But then at 11:49, Adam Schefter posts that John Harbaugh and the Giants are working to finalize an agreement to make him New York's next head coach. So it was really just a crazy day. I mean, unfortunately for me, I couldn't be on my phone at the worst times because I was at school in the morning, so I didn't see that Harbaugh was in the building until a little over an hour after. And then I was at baseball when it was the thing where it's like, oh, he's leaving, oh, he's not, now he's leaving, the whole dinner thing. So I missed out on that. And then I was asleep when it was announced he was going to be the next head coach. But I had really a lot of fun, monitoring the entire situation. So yeah, I just really hope that this he can turn the ship. I mean, I really do. I'm sick of losing, and John Harbaugh is a guy that doesn't lose. So if this doesn't work out, I mean, the Giants might just be cursed. I don't know. It just feels like a match made in heaven. I mean, the Giants get their experienced guy they've been talking about. John Harbaugh gets to come somewhere fresh with a lot of young talent, with Dart and all those guys, and he gets to work and start something new, bring in his own guys for the staff. Um, I didn't talk about the defensive coordinator situation. That one's a lot more of a mystery. We'll see if they go with a Zach or Anthony Weaver, a former Ravens guy. Charlie Bullen's name's been thrown around a little bit. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think in an ideal scenario they keep him as a linebackers coach. Or maybe they look at someone in college. We really don't know right now. Harbaugh hasn't even officially signed the deal yet, so that's kind of where we're at. But yeah, just a crazy day for the Giants, a crazy couple days actually. I'm just super excited. I'm excited to get this official, get the offseason moving underway, see what moves that they make. And it gives a sense of optimism. Every year I come in fairly optimistic, like, um, as I think every team is. But this year's gonna be different because I mean, the Giants have a legit head coach, and if you ask me, as soon as the season ended, I think I said this, like, what is like the biggest, like, what do the Giants need to really, change this, or like, what do the Giants need to like focus on in the offseason? I wouldn't have said offensive line, secondary. I would have said head coach because I'll keep saying this. Good quarterback, good head coach equals playoffs. And I think the Giants have the good head coach figured out. And Jackson Dart, if he keeps on the path he is, he's going to be even better than a good quarterback. He's going to be a great quarterback. So, it seems like a recipe for playoff success. So, yeah, shorter episode, just kind of, John Harbaugh, Giants head coach. I mean, just super excited. Um, as I said earlier, just ready to kind of jump into the offseason, get the ball rolling on some coordinators and position coaches and that kind of thing. So yeah, I just wanted to do a little emergency episode here. Figure John Harbaugh um, deserves that. So yeah, should have the normal episodes out on early next week. Definitely should be Monday because it's MLK Day, so definitely be able to get that out then. If anything else crazy happens, then I'll do another episode, but I don't think that'll happen um, unless we Bellinger signs. But yeah, so that's going to conclude this episode. Please like, follow, subscribe wherever you're watching or listening. I'm going to be covering the entire Giants offseason. I also do Yankee stuff if you're new to the channel. So please also follow my social medias. Link will be in the description. Until next time, let's go Yankees and let's go Giants.